Do you remember your first Pokemon game? Do you remember how it made you feel to catch your first pocket monster? In this episode, I sit down with good friend Ethan Viz and talk about Pokemon's past, present, and future, and how we feel about all three of those evolutionary stages. I also asked my community to put together themed Pokemon teams that we went over on the live show. I'll show them off a little bit at the end, but for now, sit down, relax, and watch an episode of Core Memories.
I really love what you're doing with this concept. I loved it before, but like I think that the interview nature of it is really cool. And also you're a very good interviewer.
Can we take a minute and hype up just this concept? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. You're wonderful as an interviewer.
The questions that you come up with, just the attention to those details, it's so much fun to do.
You tapped into it, and then now I think this formula is great.
I haven't really sat and remembered why I love this game so much.
We've been very happy to meet so many cool, creative, funny people on Twitch.
And this is the natural evolution.
What Sarah's doing is really cool. Yeah, I could talk to Sarah till the cows come home.
Not a lot of people on Twitch are just bringing on other creators just to interview them.
Thank you for having us.
Really, it's been a very healthy thing that you've kicked off in our lives.
When I saw the trailer for just what you're doing with the Core Memories concept, I mean, I hope you do this again.
This is a great idea. We can't wait to see the rest of Core Memories.
Having Cartoonia embrace me the way it did was huge.
What do you say, chat? More Core Memories?
There he is.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody, welcome in Ethan Viz. Oh, man. Hey, it is, don't forget to hit record. Thank you. It is so nice to see you. Wow. So, thanks so much for first off agreeing to do this and be one of my guests this season.
Oh yeah, I was super excited when I was honored. I mean, honestly honored that you would ask. The first season was so cool. Yeah, thank you.
I so appreciate that. And I want to thank you for picking Pokémon Red, because this is a game that I have very specific and near and dear memories of, and I imagine so do you.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as, I don't know, I started thinking about what, I think even if you're not someone that is on the show, just watching the show, you start thinking about, well, what would my core memory game be?
Yeah.
And it was always this game.
Yeah.
This game was like important to me before I ever played it.
Okay.
And it has only gotten, I don't know, my esteem for it has only grown over the years. There's a lot of different ways that I don't know. There's just a lot of there's so much to talk about, to be honest. This game is really interesting.
So you said that this game was important to you before you even played it. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, sure. I mean, the Pokemon phenomenon was like this thing that was happening. Like before the games even came out in the States, it was already happening.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that the greater Pokemon business was starting to be formed, and the card game was huge. I got very into the card game.
Yeah.
But I have specific memories of like knowing that the Pokemon games were coming out and trying to imagine what they would be like.
Yeah.
And so I had a Game Boy Pocket. I got a Game Boy Pocket really young, and the only games I had on it were like side scrollers. I had Mario, and I had Kirby, and I had Tetris.
Yeah.
But I was literally imagining like a 2D side scroller where you like threw Pokeballs at Pokemon as Ash.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Like I imagined a totally different kind of video game than what it really was, and then it was really a shock when I realized that to fully engage with the video game, I would have to learn how to read
Okay, yeah.
because I was so young and I did not have my reading skills yet. Oh hell yeah, Toad Spark says I completely imagined it that way before I played it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the concept of Pokemon was so just clearly the coolest thing ever as soon as you heard about it, and it wasn't even, it's like the video game to go along with it was like this thing that I was anticipating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know how to read, and realizing that the game was a lot of reading was an adjustment.
They really they really pumped Pokemon in, right? Because like you had the cards, you had the anime and the games, like, and all that is still going, right? But like it feels like to me there was nothing quite like that, like 1997 through like 99 Pokemon craze.
Well, it was also this crazy thing where literally every single kid I knew was into it.
Yeah.
And like kids that like would never talk to me normally were like asking to trade Pokemon cards with me.
Yeah.
You know, just it was a really all-encompassing phenomenon if you were, you know, like 7 years old or 8 years old, or, you know, if you were a kid when this happened, it was unlike anything that's ever happened.
No, I totally agree. And like, I think we kind of saw that again when Pokemon Go came out, right?
Oh my God, Pokemon Go Summer.
Yeah. Because
Pokemon Go Summer.
Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of those people that were like, you know, you're like people that you wouldn't think is like stereotypical like Pokemon fans, but then you'd see them and they'd be like, oh yeah, I love Pokemon. I used to collect all the cards as a kid and whatever, you know, and they're like hedge managers and shit.
Yeah.
It's
what year was Pokemon Go? What year was Pokemon Go? I'm trying to remember.
2016 or 2015. I'm not sure.
July. Yeah, summer 2016. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
There's a series of alerts on my channel called it's like the night or something, night part 1, night part 2, the night part 3.
Yeah.
And those all were a summer night. There was a big Pokemon Go night, and Jesse was there, and that was fun. My phone fucking couldn't run Pokemon Go when it first came out. My phone chugged. Like I could barely run that fucking video game on my old ass iPhone.
So you told me that you started with a Game Boy Pocket. And playing Pokemon Red on your Game Boy Pocket. So
I don't have my Pocket with me.
Yeah.
But I do have the upgrade.
The Game Boy Color?
Yeah, I get my Game Boy Color.
Oh yeah, I got that same one.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have that same one. I wanna collect one of each color. I just got the berry.
There's some old batteries in here.
Yeah, I just got the berry one.
They're dead.
But so the upgrade to color was very interesting too, because then that's when you understood why they were Pokemon Red and Blue, because that
was so cool that they did that.
Yeah.
And then Pokemon Yellow itself was like a cross-gen game. Like it played in both. You could play it on a Game Boy Pocket or a regular Game Boy, but it had the full colors on Game Boy Color, which is not how a lot of those games worked. A lot of Game Boy Color games were exclusives, which is weird and interesting.
Yeah.
Game Boy Color is a really weird thing. Anyway.
Yeah, and I feel like if you do some looking into it, the Pokemon itself is kind of a technical marvel in that they had to get a lot of data on a little bit of space. But so you mentioned that you were kind of envisioning like a 2D platformer style game because that's what you were so used to. So, you know, when you got your
real
hands...
quick, one of the greatest Pokemon video games of all time.
Oh, silver. I prefer gold personally, but I get you. Gen 2, and I'm excited to talk to you about Gen 2 as well.
We can talk Gen 2.
But were you, were you able to kind of, so you mentioned that you were picturing Pokemon as like a side scroller.
I was, because I didn't, because that was just what my conception of video games were at that time. And like, I had the only other, so like besides my Game Boy games, the only other video game I had seen was I saw someone playing Super Mario World on an SNES, but I didn't even get to play it.
Yeah. And then so, you get Pokemon and it's mostly like kind of menu based, right?
Yeah, it's menu based and it's also top down.
Yeah. So
like I hadn't played Link's Awakening yet.
Yeah.
I have Crystal right here, TC. I have Crystal right here.
Yeah.
So I hadn't played Zelda yet, so the whole top-down perspective was pretty wild. I mean, that alone really added to the sense of adventure that game like imparts. Like it really is a survival game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's about having limited resources and being forced into these wilderness environments, and you gotta try to keep your team alive. It's not easy. It is because it's a broken video game. You can break Gen 1 so easily in so many ways. But as a kid, it was hard. It was hard to, and especially like I said, I mentioned earlier, I didn't know how to read when Pokemon came out.
Yeah.
Or I was still struggling to learn how to read at that point.
Yeah.
So it was like a big motivator to learn what all the words meant and be able to participate in this thing that was so clearly like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Especially at that moment in my life. And it's like also if you don't know how to read, you can't play the card game because the card game is already like
really text based.
Yeah, you got to read what the fuck the cards say.
Yeah. And I also think that them coming out with the cards and the anime and just, us getting, or cartoon, we called it back then, but us getting
the anime was,
a hold of it all at the same time really added to our imagination because going through the games in the first iteration in Pokemon Red, a lot of those sprites are kind of scuffed, man.
The designs are really interesting. It's fun going back, and because they clean them up almost immediately. Like Yellow has a bunch of new sprites that are more closely aligned with the designs in the anime. But when those there's something that I really enjoy about just the pure Gen 1 sprites, red and blue. They're a little more monstrous. They're a little more grotesque, and I don't know. It's something I appreciate. It makes that world seem a little more unique in retrospect, and a little more dangerous and fucked up. Gen 1 specifically has like a bunch of weird fucked up shit in it, like Lavender Town in general. Which is also the Lavender Town music is incredible. The music in the game is incredible. It
really is
something I couldn't stop talking about when I was streaming the game last night. Is just like so many pieces of music are just fucking incredible compositions.
It was my first time listening to it with like high fidelity headphones. And I was
like, not coming out of a fucking Game Boy Color speaker.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit! Like, there's a lot of really complicated, even like motifs of like different music, where like you would get a song on one route, and then you would get the same song, but a little something added to it in another route. And I was like, I didn't even know that they were doing that sort of like
Yeah.
complexity in this game.
Well, yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, what's weird is like I said, like growing up and like just hearing it out of the Game Boy speaker, like your whole life, and becoming an older person and learning to appreciate music in different ways than when you were like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And coming back to it, and it's like, wow, the people doing their jobs here really did the shit out of their jobs here.
Yeah.
Like they had a very specific set of tools to make music and make it, you know, interactive on the Game Boy, and I think it's real, like, just like watershed moment for video game music. You know, obviously, you know, there had been a bunch of there's a bunch of amazing video game music like everywhere. Like, but there's something about these specific renditions of these songs that remains really special, especially like as the Pokemon music has evolved. There's a lot of really good stuff. They've even Toby Fox, the Undertale guy, who is super influenced by the Pokemon music, has contributed music to the newer gens of the actual Pokemon games.
Wow.
Which I think is really cool, full circle kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm rambling, so I'm gonna stop talking.
No, you were so good. So, would it be fair to say that like you like to view media through the lens of music first?
No, definitely not. Not music first. It's especially games.
Yeah.
I have a lot of weird thoughts about presentation and game feel and gameplay. Like I'm really looking forward. There's a video game that's coming out. It's called Skate Story.
Okay.
I don't know if have you heard of this game called Skate Story?
I haven't. No.
It looks super fucking cool. It's a skating video game.
Yeah.
Where you're a skateboarder. But in this video game, you are also a demon made out of glass and pain.
Okay.
And when you bail on a trick, you shatter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it looks so cool. It's got a super trippy look to it. The plot of the game has you signing a deal with the devil and then riding through hell.
Okay.
Skating through hell.
That's what's up.
And it's based on a true story, and it just looks super cool, and it's got a super cool soundtrack by a cool band. But the thing is, like, when I play this game, there's a demo. I'm gonna download the demo. I'm gonna play the demo probably tonight.
Yeah.
If I don't like the way the game feels, then it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like the way it feels to play it, then it doesn't matter how cool it looks and like how good the music is.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. I feel like games are kind of like they really have to do they have to juggle everything at once, right? Like they have to do
everything.
Yeah. They have to juggle music and a visual presentation and feel, which I feel like is not something that other forms of media have to deal with. They can either be just music or just a visual. You know, a lot of times visuals do come with music, but you know, a game, I mean, like you said, it can be visually very interesting and sonically very interesting and just not feel very good to play.
There's just, I mean, and it's all expectation, right? Like I thought Pokemon was going to be a game that was more action based and right. would have more of a Mario or Kirby like feel to it before I ever played it. And then what I found was a game about thinking and acting. Yeah. So you know, it's a game where you're faced with a million choices. And one of the brilliant things about Pokemon and brilliant in sort of an insidious way is the multiple versions, before you even play the game, you are faced with this question: red version or blue version?
Right. Yeah.
And you haven't even spent money on. You haven't even done anything yet.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're going to get one of the games is already a foregone conclusion, and you have jumped to deciding which one you're going to get.
That is a really interesting call out, and I love that too because it primes you for the next question, which is which starter do you go with?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's which starter are you going to get now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really it's brilliant. It's also like very capitalistic, and it's aimed at children, which is,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I think, for it being, I think for the time, it seemed a lot less, and maybe it's because we were children, but it seemed a lot less, it seemed more groundbreaking, right? Because it kind of forced you to play with your friend, even though it's a one-player game.
No, it was all about facilitating trading.
Yeah.
They made 2 versions so that some people wouldn't have certain Pokemon and some people would, and that would force people to interact.
Yeah.
And that's genius. It's incredibly smart. The fact that this game shipped with multiplayer, and I don't know if any games on Game Boy had multiplayer before this. Like the link cable, I'm pretty sure was a peripheral, like invented for this game. I would have to confirm that on Wikipedia, but like that feels correct. I cannot think of a single game that came out before Pokemon that would have used the link cable.
Yeah.
No one was even thinking that way.
Right, and how could you? I do love that. I love that. Again, it kind of forced children to, like you said, talk to each other and trade with each other, etc. Where they might not have been so eager to interact. I wonder how the multiple versions kind of fits into our modern world and our modern sensibilities. And if it,
I think
carries the same.
It's interesting that there's a Pokemon game coming out next week, and there's only one version of it.
Interesting. Oh, you have the X
Z, Legends Z through A.
C through A, yeah. That's I think because they did the same thing with Arceus Legends, right?
Right, Arceus was just a single version. But I don't know. They have done more experimental titles with multiple versions. Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's the multiple versions thing is never going to go away for the mainline games.
Yeah.
But the fact that now they could kind of get away with it when they were handheld cheaper games. Right. But now they're full console games, or at least they're supposed to be, because that's how much they're charging for them.
Right.
That changes like, oh, I'm gonna buy both of them, but they're still selling like a bundle pack of both of them.
Right. Which kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Well, yeah, because the purpose isn't, because everything is multiplayer now. Everything is like online and connected.
Yeah.
The original purpose of selling those, and there's so many Pokemon games now. They don't really need to offer 2 versions like that. It's just a legacy thing, and because it's a legacy thing that people expect, that means they can keep selling it, and that's what matters. Like it has the purpose of it has changed, and that's why they don't feel the need to do it for these Legends games, even though they are basically mainline Pokemon battling games. They're just a little bit more experimental than the mainline series, but like just a little bit.
Yeah, I must admit, I put probably 200 hours into Arceus.
It's a great game,
and really enjoyed my time with it. And was like, see, this is really fun and different. But yeah, I totally agree. I think if you were to go out and buy, let's say a pack of Scarlet and Violet, that does kind of defeat the purpose of like telling your friend, "Hey, I'm getting Violet. If you get Scarlet, we'll trade those Pokemon." Because
Okay,
now you
thank
go ahead.
Thank you, Toad Sparks, for the correction. Several games use the link cable before Pokemon. Most notably Tetris. That's awesome. You could play multiplayer Tetris on Game Boy. That's sick as fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah, because the Game Boy shipped with it built in already. So
Right. Yeah. The port was there the whole time.
Yeah, but I imagine it didn't get very popular until the trading, and of course, like linking evolutions to trading was a big one too. Like that's a really interesting game mechanic that they.
Yeah, you had to trade it in order to evolve it. That's something I find so annoying going back to them.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, I'm never gonna actually do this unless I fire, unless I use my multiple copies of old games.
Yeah. Which you have.
Because you can, that I do have.
Yeah.
I just gotta track down a link cable. Like I got one somewhere.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about, did you spend a lot of time playing Pokemon Red and or Blue or Yellow?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever owned a Blue. But I definitely had Yellow. And I got Silver and I got Crystal.
Yeah.
And then I think around Gen 3 is when I just started getting both of them.
Okay, yeah.
So I got Ruby and Sapphire.
Nice.
But I played so much Pokemon Red. I played I've played ungodly amounts of that game, and the big thing for me is when I was a kid, I'd had long airplane rides pretty frequently.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole reason my mom got me a Game Boy when I was really little, is to have something to do on the airplane.
Yeah.
And nothing makes time just melt away like starting a new save of Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
Or just continuing the game that I'm in the middle of. But yeah, like I played a lot of that game. I mean, I have the memories of like playing it in the car at night, and you would catch it in the light of the street lights for like a second, and then it would go away, and then you would wait, and then you would make, you would choose a move, or you would go in the direction. I don't know.
Memorize where your moves were a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I have a distinct memory of we had kind of a yard light outside my window, and if I caught it just right, I was supposed to be asleep, but if I caught it just right, I could still play. And I remember sitting there for hours, like kind of sitting there all cattywampus trying to play with my Game Boy Color. If you held it just right, you would catch enough light to continue to play.
Yeah,
because that was way more convenient than the little worm lights that.
The worm lights were those were not good. I had one. I didn't like it. It drained the battery faster.
Yes, very fast,
which was really annoying.
And I grew up in a very rural area, and so we went to town, once or twice, once a week or bi-weekly, and you got what you got for that time period. So battery rationing was real.
Yeah, I think eventually my mom got me a set of rechargeable batteries.
Yeah.
And because otherwise we were spending way too much money on batteries.
Yeah, totally worth it too.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's like I'm thinking about it now. It's like, God, the Game Boy SP was truly a game changer. With the great clamshell design, but also the light up screen and the rechargeable battery.
Yeah, I mean, I think
brilliant.
It really launched the handheld market into the future a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, people were trying.
Yeah.
Sega kept trying. What was it? Sega Nomad. It was basically like a Sega Genesis. It was basically a Switch before, like years early, because I think you could plug it into a TV. I think it did do TV out.
Nice. Yeah.
But it was really expensive and no one bought it. And Sega was always trying crazy stuff.
Yeah, they were. They really were kind of, trying it out. So when you were playing Pokemon Red, which was your starter? Was it Charmander, or were you?
Oh yeah, it was Charmander, but that also just the Pokemon Red has just become a game that I play, still, and like I have played it over the years. I play it at this point like every 3 to 5 years, but
okay.
I was playing it like every year for a while, probably.
Yeah.
And so I've done all of the starters. I've done all of them.
Yeah. Is it something? Is it like because I get this where, for whatever reason, like the time of year makes me go like, oh man, I should boot up a new Pokemon. And it's usually in the springtime. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if that's just like when I got my first hit of Pocket Monsters or whatever.
Maybe.
But do you have kind of that same compulsion that's like linked to external?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's traveling for me. Maybe it's like I'm really looking forward to TwitchCon is coming up.
Yeah.
And this new Pokemon Legends Through Z game comes out right before it, so I'm gonna have a new Pokemon game to play on the plane.
Very cool.
To San Diego. So that'll be nice.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, and I was talking about this while playing, but it feels like Charmander and Charizard were like they were kind of like the big mascot. Obviously Pikachu was the mascot. If you watched the show, you really loved Pikachu, but I think like every boy my age wanted a Charmander.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's the coolest. I mean, it's one of the coolest looking Pokemon ever. It's the cool looking dragon. There are two dragons in Gen 1, and Charizard is the cool looking one.
Yeah. And the other one is nigh impossible to get. So
yeah. I mean, Dragonite's fucking cool, but I think I think that design is actually pretty fantastic in retrospect. But when you're a kid, he looks like a little dope, and Charizard is the cool dragon,
Yes.
He's not even dragon type, Toadsparks. You're right. Like,
yeah, he's not even a dragon.
He's pure fire. He's a pure fire type.
Yeah.
Which they correct with the mega evolutions in X and Y. They give him two mega evolutions so they can give him two typings, because they couldn't decide, is he flying fire or is he dragon fire?
Right. Yeah.
Fire dragon.
Yeah. I gotta say, he actually is by default fire flying, which kind of, I guess, gives him that weakness to electric typing as well. Kind of keep him in check. But I gotta say, I think it was smart on their end not making him a dragon, to keep the rock paper scissors in place. Otherwise,
I mean, he would have been even more OP in these games if he was dragon type from the beginning. That'd have been too much.
Yeah, no, totally agree. So yeah, I distinctly remember, because like my favorite Pokemon now is Bulbasaur, and I swear by Bulbasaur, but I was a Charmander kid and had to have a Charizard, had to have the Charizard card, etc. He was he was everywhere and everything. And I was saying this before you came on, but I think like we were kind of already primed, like to go like I need the dragon. I gotta have the dragon.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's why it was Pokemon Red for me, right? It's like Blastoise is cool. He had the cannons, and I always liked Blastoise, but Charizard is the one. Charizard from Mulholland Drive, this is the girl. This she was the one.
Yeah. Charizard
and,
is him.
Yeah, Charizard is the Pokemon. Charizard is him.
And I think-
indeed.
To your credit, you spotted this pretty early, but you said like they're more monstrous, and like Charizard is probably the most monstrous of the starters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Venusaur is kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty, especially the Gen 1 art. It looks pretty grotesque.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Squirtle line is so cute, like the whole time, and even Blastoise is like, you put like some sunglasses on him and he's chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's pretty friendly seeming.
Like you can imagine Blastoise like in beachwear pretty easily.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Which is cool. I think he's awesome. He's got guns. Like
He does.
he's one of the only Pokemon designs with guns.
Yeah. They really kind of like skirted away from that, and I imagine kind of like for their image or whatever. I imagine somebody's mom complained.
Well, they're to be fair to Blastoise, they're water guns, but
Yeah.
there is a very clear divergence in design between Pokemon and Digimon,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of overlap between them, but there is an edginess to Digimon where there are Digimon that have guns, there are Digimon that are guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the way that Pokemon has Pokemon that are pots of tea, Digimon has Digimon that are just guns.
Yeah. They really do. They just kind of leaned into that of just like, no, everything is a mon and everything's a monster, and it is what it is.
I think the designs are great. I mean, I think there are very disappointing aspects of a lot of the newest Pokemon games. I don't think they've ever and there are generations where I think the monster designs aren't great, but like by and large they have continued to make really great iconic Pokemon. So I watched a bunch of the first half of your show tonight, and there's a lot of newer Pokemon that were not just on one squad, but multiple squads.
Yeah.
Toxicity showed up like 3 times.
Yeah, he did.
That's a Generation 8 Pokemon. I think a lot of the designs in Generation 8 are fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I have this argument with Gen 1ers quite a bit, where I'm like, if you take a look at one Pokemon and you say, see, that's the problem with modern design. You take a look at Vanillish and you say, that's stupid, it's an ice cream cone. And you say that
Vanillish line showed up on multiple teams tonight.
It did, yeah. And you take a look and you say, okay, well, Gen 1 was perfect and they didn't have any duds. And a Pokemon I love, but like is not creative at all, is like Seal, the Seal Pokemon, right?
Seal. I laugh whenever I encounter a Seal because just like there's a Seal. I mean, that is something like there is a bit in Gen 1 of that's just a bird, or
Yes.
that's literally just a snake.
Yes. And after you've done like 3 or 4 snake designs, I imagine you kind of have to reach a little bit more and get a little bit more creative.
Yeah. Why not? I love that. I love that you are protective of the keys. I think the keys are great. I like that they're fairies.
Yeah.
Like that's a really fun touch, and it's like where are my keys? Well, the fairies have them.
Yes,
Fairies have them.
Thank you for that. I'm very protective of Klefki. I feel like that's a Pokemon that gets a lot of hate, and I never understood why.
But here's the thing: these Pokemon that get a lot of hate, these are the ones that we remember.
It's true.
That's why they're like these are the ones that live rent free in all our minds because you're like what the fuck? There's Pokemon are keys now.
Yeah.
Pokemon are a pot of tea now.
Yeah.
I think I love Sinistee, by the way. Sinistee is a fantastic design.
It's a really good design. I feel like you
Yeah.
know there are. I'm not a big fan of the Gardevoir, the garbage Pokemon.
Oh yeah, yeah. Garba
yeah.
Garbar.
Not a big fan of that, but then there's also some duds like you know the Rock and Toe and you know the Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan versions where they're just like Bert and Ernie,
Oh,
but
sure.
in gis in like karate
Yeah.
outfits.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Those guys never really did it for me.
No,
I mean, there's like over a fucking 1,000 of these things by now. There's bound to be a couple duds.
yeah,
I think every generation has their duds, to be honest. Toadspark says Pokemon also has a policy now. Whenever they come up with a design for a mon, they search the internet. If they find a fan design that's similar, they scrap them on, forcing them to come up with ideas that literally no one else has.
I see.
That's really cool, and that's probably why there hasn't been a new Eevee evolution in years.
That makes sense. Yeah, because fans do love to make those.
yeah, they do.
Well, you know, we were talking about Gen 2, and I gotta say, you know, that was such a huge improvement and step up that it doesn't like it is a sequel game, but also it kind of feels like a continuation of Gen 1. And it feels like a lot of the things that they wanted to implement in Gen 1 that they just didn't have the power to, they were now able to. You know.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I've been playing through Crystal on my Analog Pocket, and I think that game's really great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that it adds that kind of like complete the experience.
Yes.
The day-night cycle is really cool.
It is, yeah. The EXP, I remember distinctly being absolutely in love with the fact that they added the EXP bar.
Yes.
It's such a simple thing, but it adds so much to the game.
That's true.
You know, they have an EXP bar. I can physically see the EXP that my Pokemon is gaining, and I don't have to, you know, either check the stat screen, which I didn't know how to do when I was a kid, or, you know, just wait until it dings and then I get a level.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a long time to realize that there literally is a the number of how many experience points you need was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, but it's weird I say that. Like that's the thing about these games, this Pokemon game, is that I have all these memories of before I knew certain things. Yeah. And those memories are from when I was 8.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
go ahead.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think it's really interesting because they really have to like straddle this line of being simple enough that a 7-year-old can play it and be complex enough that an adult can enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were adults that were into video games that played Pokemon in the 90s. I guarantee it, because that's just how linear time works.
Right.
But it felt so much, especially at the time, it felt so much like this is specifically for me and my friends.
Yes, it was very much aimed at kids, which I feel like maybe, and I don't watch a lot of commercials, but like I feel like a lot of the Pokemon ads now are aimed to 30-year-olds.
Probably. Yeah, you know? Absolutely. Yeah, I saw a Legend ZA ad that was one of the kids from Stranger Things who looks like he's like, you know, in his 30s now.
Yeah, I know some of them are married now, and which is crazy because now they're gonna go back and play middle schoolers.
Yeah, but it's like he's like on a set and he's playing it, and like some like production assistant is like, "Hey, you have to go," and he's like, "Hold on, I'm playing Pokemon." I don't know.
But I have a distinct memory of like being older, and I was attempting a Crystal Nuzlocke. It was actually on stream before I took my hiatus, and I remembered that I was trying to catch a what do you call it? The beetle Pokemon. It's not a Pinsar, but a
Heracross.
And I realized that every tree in every town was coded with a percentile for different Pokemon to drop. And like, they didn't have to do all that. Like that's incredibly complex for a game that kids, I know I did, just walked right past. I probably headbutted like 1 or 2 trees and was like, cool, I guess that's how you do that. I'll always get a Weedle out of a tree.
I mean, so much of the magic of it was that it was so big and that it had so many. It had hundreds of monsters.
Yeah.
And there was all these, and you didn't, and it was this world that you didn't know, right? It's like you're playing as a kid. You know, you're playing as an 11-year-old in the game, and that's kind of probably the target age. That's probably the target age they're aiming for. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, 11-year-old can read, and an 11-year-old can probably play through this whole game.
Yeah.
But the world itself is like an alternate dimension, right? It's like it's the world of Pokemon. It's this world where animals are basically as smart as humans, and they also get turned into fighting. They're also legally gladiators.
Yeah, they are.
But they're your best friend.
Yes, that too. They're your best friend. And they're also a gladiator.
and all of these things having to be true also exist in a world that looks as much like our own as possible.
Yeah,
has created a really weird reality, and exploring this reality with, you know, your friends when these games first came out was so cool and fun. And, you know, part of it, you know, there was so many, I don't know if, did you have this? There was a rumor that went around my school, and I kept hearing it repeatedly for the longest time, that you could find Mew if you pushed the truck in.
Yeah.
Mew's under the truck.
How did we all hear that rumor before the internet? Like, how did that spread from playground to playground like that fast before we had access to the internet? It is wild. It is wild that we did that. The same with like Lavender Town being like, some kids died when they went.
Yeah,
when they went to Lavender Town.
The Lavender Town creepypastas are very, very real.
Yeah.
I mean, and the game encourages it. The game is telling this really spooky little story.
Yeah.
In Lavender Town. And then the animes tell their own spooky story in Lavender Town. It's cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm lost again.
I definitely think that like Pokemon kind of, at least it served as an introduction to me to like RPGs, and it sounds probably
me
you
too.
as well, because
100%. I didn't know what an RPG was before I played Pokemon.
Same, like I never played any of the Final Fantasies until I played Pokemon. I never played any of the, you know, Dragon Quest or anything like that. Until Pokemon came around, and it was a very like kid-friendly introduction into these concepts like team building and stats and things like that, that we would have never really paid attention to.
Turn-based combat. I had never heard of her before I played Pokemon.
Right, and I never realized that's what I was doing until later on. Until I picked up a copy of like Final Fantasy VII and was like, oh, this is Pokemon. Like, it's the same concept. I have to pick moves.
For me, it was Golden Sun.
Yeah, I never played the Golden Sun series.
I got that for GBA and really, really liked it. There is an actual, so they tried, because it is a Nintendo property technically, but it was made by Camelot, who are the people that made the a lot of the Mario sports games, specifically the tennis and golf.
Okay.
and they made the Mario sports games on Game Boy Color, which were more like RPGs themselves.
Yeah.
And then for Game Boy Advance, they made this RPG series called Golden Sun, and to try to like win over the Pokemon crowd, there are collectible monsters in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of games that tried to do that. Like, I distinctly remember playing. Had never played a Dragon Quest game, but they had Dragon Quest Monsters, which I did play.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
totally. I mean, really good on them to realize that, and you know, all things being fair, you look at the Dragon Quest monsters themselves, are very, very clearly the inspiration for a lot of Pokemon designs.
Yes.
Like very, very, very clearly. So there is kind, you know, I think it would have been a really bad fight that Nintendo didn't want to have if they had tried to go after Enix back in the day over Dragon Quest monsters.
How do you? Because I mean, it's linked ultimately to Akira Toriyama.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. It's like, all right, you're not going to win that fight because you're ripping off Toriyama in your game.
Yeah, and you're not going to win that fight.
Yeah, you're not going to win that fight. But it's something that like when Pal World was very controversial when it came out.
Yeah.
People really getting up in arms about stolen assets and ripped models and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw some very direct comparisons between Toriyama's art and the Pokemon designs, and you know, ultimately that it you know, however close to ripping off something is, the fact that like it is this, you know, there is an influence and an iteration to so much of all of these games.
Yeah.
That it's not, you know, it's not that it like not that it doesn't matter, but it's like it's how something like this happens.
Yeah.
It's how it's how you get a game like this.
If you
it's because
again,
people are so inspired by the other things that are happening.
Yeah,
in this space.
To tie it back in, to loop it around to, you know, viewing it through music. You know, some of the greatest songs that we all know and love sample other songs. I mean, most of hip hop was made from sampling other songs. So it makes sense that game development would get inspiration from other games. And
I mean I mean in music, it's not even hip hop, but rock and roll is all just blues. Like like Led Zeppelin stole a lot of their best riffs just directly from blues musicians. It's all people ripping off people, like all the way down. And you know, there are lines that like people want, like you have to draw for yourself, like as an artist or as a consumer. And like, you know, Steam is full of, and a lot of digital storefronts are full of just trash, just asset flips, things that are devoid of ideas or content.
Yeah, even Pal World, which many call a ripoff of Pokemon, has a ripoff of it called Pal Land or something like that.
And it's on Switch.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, the whole Pal World controversy was extremely simple, and it was, I've played Pal World. It's very fun.
Me too.
You know, and to me, it's like I don't care if it bit Pokemon or copied this or that. Like, it's fun. Pokemon can be fun, but usually I have to find my own fun in it. You know, at least now that I'm a little older.
I mean, and it was a different game. Like, let's be real. Like, that was a completely different game than what like a Pokemon game is. It was a survival 100%. Crafting game, and and I played that game on a server with some friends when it came out, and I got into it the way that I get into survival crafting games when I play them on a server with my friends.
Precisely.
So and there just hasn't there hasn't, and there probably never will be a Pokemon game like that.
No.
Even the upcoming survival crafting Pokemon game,
Yeah.
it looks a lot more like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, like an Animal Crossing
it
or
does.
like a Dragon Quest Builders, perhaps.
Sure, Dragon Quest Builders, yeah. But it doesn't look like a multiplayer game to me, and it definitely doesn't look like a game where I could have a server with my friends. Like not in the way that like Grounded is straight up you can just have a server with your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's what that game is, and I don't expect Pokemon to ever make that game.
Yeah.
So leave Pal World alone, in my opinion. All the patent lawsuits are so stupid, and it's really just them being like overly protective because they feel like their fans were upset by Pal World, so they're trying to like protect the Pokemon. Like don't worry, we will protect the Pokemon for you.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I said this when I was playing Pokemon Red the other night, but honestly, as a fan of the series, I don't want a whole lot from it. I don't want I don't want it to change drastically. I want it to look better. I want it to look better. That's pretty much it.
I hear you.
I feel like if you're going to charge console, I was talking about this on stream, but I feel like they're in this weird space where it's on a console, but it's still a handheld game. You know,
that is the growing pains that have happened. And basically ever since the Nintendo handheld started to become more powerful, which is basically the DS.
Yeah.
They haven't really known how to scale up their own pipelines, and it's frustrating because your fucking Pokemon, you're basically the biggest entertainment franchise in the world.
Yes.
If we're just talking about money being made, they make all of the fucking money.
Yes.
And you can't figure this shit out. You can't hire some engineers. You can't hire, you can't just, it's very frustrating.
I think they're in this very weird, like you said, transitional phase where they're not fully committing to like a 3D aesthetic, and not committing to, okay, we're going to be 2D. Because
they were in that mode for a long time. I mean, the whole DS era is them not doing 3D when
and those games look
Pokemon
good.
Stadium existed, and so they had the 3D models of the Pokemon, but they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then the 3DS games are them being like very, very reluctant to start figuring out how to make those games in 3D. And then the Switch era has been the thing that's really remarkable about the Switch era for me is that there have been so many Switch Pokemon games, and I think the reason why is Pokemon is such a machine that it really needs there is a schedule. There is like a merchandise operation, and these games need to come out at a certain clip in order to keep the machine humming. And as a result, they've had to release a lot of video games, so they haven't been able. I think that like they're basically been developing what 3D Pokemon is in real time with these games. Like, let's go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu was a remake of Gen 1.
Well, they're caught in a loop because they have to make games to make more Pokemon, to make more cards, to make more plushies.
They must make more game to make more Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so they've been figuring it out game by game, and now they have the Legend series and the mainline series. So there's like parallel development going on, and they're absolutely like sharing things between those teams. But deciding like what they're going to use where. It was very telling when Sword and Shield came out, and half the game had a similar presentation to Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, where the camera was still top down, and then half the game had a behind the shoulder camera. So it was like they couldn't commit to making that whole game that way. They only could make half of it that way.
I think that is the perfect way to sum it up. Is they can't commit to a design choice. That's our art style, or it feels very much like that. I feel like if they were to just pick something and commit to it fully, the games would look and run a lot better than they do.
I think that's true if they had time to do that. I think the reason they're doing they have to meet these arbitrary deadlines for these games to come out, and so they're like, well, we can't actually do Sword and Shield the way we want to. We're gonna have to settle for, an older presentation for half of the game.
Yeah.
And that's why you get. I think that's why the Legends series happened, is because they need to be constantly iterating and like trying to fight their way out of this tech debt, when really they just need to take a couple of years off and like fucking hire some engineers, like
maybe
not like a ton. Like you just need some some knowledge base to be built up. You need to understand like how to like what actually needs to be done to make your games look good.
Yeah,
because they just like they've been I don't know, they've been a handheld studio for so long, and they just, it's like Nintendo has the fucking you
have the money,
dude. It's like fucking like Tears of the Kingdom looked and ran as good as it did on a fucking Switch 1.
Right.
And you're telling me that Scarlet and Violet look like a fucking PS2 game? What the fuck is going on?
I would like to point out Octopath Traveler and this
oh sure
surge of like even like Dragon Quest II. Square Enix is putting out a lot of these HD 2D remakes that look fantastic.
I love the HD 2D stuff. I think it looks great.
It does, and I feel like that if Game Freak wants to, I think that would be a wonderful place to settle into for them.
That's really curious, because I think at this point they are committed to figuring it out, and like but I would welcome that, and I don't know how they're planning on going forward with remakes, because I don't think they developed the Diamond and Pearl remake.
They didn't, no.
So are they just going to have external partners go forward with that? And I didn't like that. I mean, that remake was just those games again.
Yes. That I think it looked good. I don't think it added anything.
No.
And that's kind of a bummer when I realized that
it was worse than Platinum.
Yeah, it didn't have the same like dex number as Platinum, and didn't have a lot of the like things that Platinum did. I was like, oh well, I'll just play Platinum then.
Just play Platinum. That's the weird thing about, I don't know. There's so many weird things about the franchise, like the fact that they did do third versions for so long.
Yeah.
And those usually were like the definitive version of the game, like ultimately for a lot of them. I mean, Emerald is like that.
Yeah.
Crystal is like that.
Have you played any of the Legacy series from Smith Plays?
No, I have not. No,
they're very good. They are essentially there's this team, Smith Plays Pokemon on YouTube. They have went in and they've made the first 3 games, Yellow, Crystal, and Emerald. And they haven't really remade them, but they have added some modernization to them. Just like some very simple stuff. They've also like kind of messed with some of the stat blocks, some of the move pools, and have went in and made the gym leaders kind of make sense a little bit.
That's cool.
You know, in like for instance, in Gen 1, you get Falconer, and he doesn't like. He has like what a sparrow and a Pidgeotto, right?
Oh, you mean no Gen 2?
Yeah, Gen 2. Sorry. I've played all three. They're very good, and they have the entire like Pokedex in them as well.
That's cool.
For those
That's pretty cool.
So, if anybody out there wants to experience these games again, but with like with modern sensibilities, I highly recommend the Legacy games.
Nice. I'll probably check that out. I mean, the cool thing about the Analog Pocket is you can load hacked ROMs onto it.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of those. Pokemon Unbound, I think, is one of them.
Yeah.
But there's the Pokemon community is so cool and creative, and there's so many cool projects going on there.
Yeah,
I think it's
true.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really great to see what fans are doing. And yeah, I don't mean to sound cynical. I just wish that the Pokemon Company would implement some of the things that fans do. That clearly
I'm interested to see what their battling game is going to be like.
Okay.
The Pokemon Champions, I think, is what it's called.
Yeah. Because
Pokemon Showdown has been such a great resource for just trying things out and having fun with Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's a lot that they could just like take whole cloth from the community to make the games better.
Yeah.
If they wanted to. I am very curious, specifically in that game, how they're going to handle the all the EVs and the IVs, all the hidden stat shit that like only the real competitive Pokemon players give a shit about.
Yeah, only the real nerds.
I mean, if you play competitive Pokemon, then you're playing a different game than than normal people play.
Absolutely.
And it's just because it shouldn't necessarily be like that. Like it shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to know the arcane texts, the arcane text to have a competitive and viable Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of room there's a lot of room for them to do cool things, and I am hopeful. I mean, I am very excited for ZA. I like the Legends. I like the Legends Arceus a lot. I have a Switch too.
It sounds like you still are a fan and a lifelong fan. I think that really speaks to the strength of the series and the strength of Pokemon Red and Blue in doing what they did.
I mean, I fell off the series at a certain point.
Yeah.
Around the DS generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
But then I got a fucking 3DS to play The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, which is a fucking fantastic Zelda game, and I just like jumped right back in. Fucking X and Y came out, and I got X and Y. So it's like I put it down for like maybe 4 years, in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I
came back.
I feel like a lot of kids, like when we were teenagers, were like, "Oh, that shit's for babies," and then we came back to it once we got to our 20s.
Once we finished growing up a little bit, and then we realized, oh, I fucking love this.
Yeah.
And I haven't left.
And it's okay to love this.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I think that something that we kind of see from, and I'm not sure how old you are, but from people of our generation, where like I'm a 90s kid, I'll say that. Yeah, we like unabashedly like the things that we like, even if they're childish.
Yeah, I mean, I think the the first thing I went through like this, which is again gonna age me, is it was Barney.
Yeah.
I remember like the big Barney backlash, and like that was when I was still a child. Like, and it was a very childish thing to be like, that thing that I liked when I was a little bit younger is bad, and I should feel bad about liking it. Really, really immature thoughts and feelings, and once you get over it, and your brain finishes developing, you're like, actually, that dinosaur was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? Part of growing up is going like, no, I don't like those baby things anymore. But learning that
I held on to Power Rangers for so long.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like over Power Rangers, and I was like, the Zords are still cool though. Like, right, guys, the Zords are still cool.
Yeah,
we can play with those, because I fucking loved those toys. Like, those toys were the coolest fucking toys.
You're like, oh, you'll watch Gundam, but Zords aren't cool. What the fuck?
I mean, that's half the reason I like Gundam. Because the first Gundam they played on Toonami that I saw was Gundam Wing, and that series starts with a plane transforming into a robot. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it back, please. Let me run it back. I'll watch it again. Oh man. Well, I think we are just at the hour. Ethan Viz, you stream here on Twitch. You do a lot of like music shows. Do you have any big shows coming up that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I'm gonna do one right after this. So we're gonna end, and I'm gonna set up, and then I'm gonna stream the playlist from this week's Music League playlist. This is the first Music League was taking a Neon. This is for Neon Sox Music League. We were taking a big break, and now we're back, and this first playlist is fall vibe songs.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to play that and play some visuals along with it.
Well, what I'd love to do is let you get to it, and then we'll just raid in. How's that sound?
Oh, that sounds great. Sure.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. Thank you for talking to me about Pokemon. I want to do that all the time, so thank you.
Dude, yeah, I had a blast, man. Thank you so much for giving me the time and space to just gush about something that I literally could talk about forever. I can't believe it's already been an hour.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And you know what? Hey, we'll do the same. We'll hang out in San Diego, and we'll do it all over again.
Dude, I can't wait. That's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much. This was truly so much fun. I had a blast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night. See you soon. And that was my interview with Ethan Viz. We talked about our love for Pokemon and how it started with a simple game cartridge, Pokemon Red version. We talked about what it's like growing up with the franchise, as well as where we'd like to see the franchise go in the future. Make sure you stop in next time when we sit down with the Loch Ness Marvster and talk about Barbie Rescue Vet. Thank you guys so much, and until then, get out there and make some memories.